Did you know that women entrepreneurs on average underprice themselves by nearly 28% compared to their male counterparts? That's a huge gap. In this episode, I'm diving into one of the most powerful tools in your business toolbox, pricing. We'll talk about how setting the right price for your products or services can break you out of the feast or famine cycle, end burnout, and bring more freedom to your schedule. Ready to stop leaving money on the table and start getting paid what you're worth? Let's do this. Are you that driven entrepreneur who believes that working harder holds the key to your dreams? Are you drowning in the day-to-day tasks, wishing you had more time to strategize and cast the vision for your business growth? Hi, I'm Donna Dubé, your guide on this entrepreneurial journey. I've walked in your worn-out shoes, burning the midnight oil, convinced that sheer hard work was the secret to success. Just one more email, one more task, until I found myself on a one-way track to burnout. But here's the twist in the tale. I discovered that success isn't just about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about being intentional with our time. It's about steering our ship with focus, because no team, system, or automation can outperform a lack of direction. In this podcast, I'm sharing with you all the strategies for business growth that it took me years to learn. If you're ready to step out of the daily overwhelm so you can amplify your profits, then I'm ready to teach you. I believe the only limit to your business growth is the one you set for yourself. Go grab a notebook, warm up that cup of tea, and let's do this. Entrepreneurs, does your business feel more like a grind than the freedom you dreamed of? If you're buried in busy work, constantly putting out fires and struggling to grow, I've got something just for you. It's the Simplify, Streamline, and Scale Business Bundle. I've partnered with 60 expert business owners to offer you more than $4,000 worth of courses, templates, workshops, etc. Totally free. Yes, I said free. You're going to learn how to simplify your operations, streamline your processes, and scale your business without burning out. But here's the catch. It's only available from October 22nd to the 29th. This is your last chance to ditch the overwhelm and finally build the business and the life you've been working for. I want you to head over to ceoamplify.ca/bundle and grab this bundle before it's gone. October 22nd to the 29th. Alrighty, welcome back, and I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to repeat that quote that I said earlier on because I really want it to sink in. Did you know that on average, women entrepreneurs underprice themselves by up to 28% compared to their male peers, even when offering the exact same product or service? 28%, that's a significant gap. When I first heard this stat from a recent FreshBooks study, I was honestly blown away. And it really puts into perspective just how crucial pricing is in shaping the success and sustainability of our businesses. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. I'm going to talk about how properly pricing your programs and services is the first, and I might even say often most overlooked step in creating a successful, sustainable business. So I hope you're excited to hear this episode because this is the first of 3 strategies to help you break free from the poverty of time, energy, and money. Break free and end burnout and escape the hustle and grind culture that's so common in small business ownership. Now I know that's a big promise in just 3 episodes, right? But I want you to treat this month like a masterclass in business strategy. Each episode, I'm going to focus on a strategy that can quickly transform your business without adding more to your plate. So what's your job? Of course, your job is to listen. But more importantly, your job is to take action. because just consuming and listening to these episodes is not going to make any difference in your business. I want you to move forward and actually put into place these strategies I'm talking about. That's when you're going to see a change. So when I work one-on-one with my clients, there's always 100 things we could do to improve their businesses, right? But I'm looking for the strategies that take the least amount of effort and give the biggest results. As far as I'm concerned, there's no point in investing time, energy, and money on small incremental improvements if those improvements are going to wear out the business owner in the long run. So today, I'm going to focus on pricing. Now, I know pricing is one of those topics that can make us feel uncomfortable. And the truth is, there's no one right way to price your service and your program, right? There's not a black book that you go and look up and find the way that you're handling your product and find the exact price that you need to sell it for. And when we talk about pricing, it often stirs up feelings, mindset issues. Are we worthy? Self-doubt, fear. And we've all been there, wondering, can I really charge that much? Am I even worth that? But the truth is, if we don't get our pricing right, we hold ourselves back, keeping our businesses stuck in the feast or famine cycle for far, far, far too long. So let me ask you this. Have you ever decided on a price for one of your offers by crowdsourcing ideas from a Facebook group or a forum and asking what others think? Or maybe you've looked at what others are charging and just picked a number that sounded good. I know for myself, I've been guilty of this early on. And let me tell you, this is not a strategy. You end up setting prices that are just arbitrary, right? They're based on opinions of people, but those people aren't even your ideal clients. And that leads to unpredictable income, burnout, and a lot of second guessing. Now, if you listened to the last episode, you heard me talk about the feast or famine cycle that so many business owners fall into. And just to give you a summary, you get a few clients, you start to see the money come in, you start to do the work that you promised, and you drop the ball on your marketing and your sales. You're trying to manage everything behind the scenes, and it's a full-time job, no doubt. But what ends up happening is that you finish that client work, and then you're back to square one, trying to find more clients again to fill up your roster. And some people think, well, marketing, I just need to do marketing, but it's not always the answer. More often than that, the real issue is with how we price, package, and position our offers. You see, the trap here is where you really don't have enough clients and you're not really making enough money. But no matter what tactic you try, you can't seem to get out of it. You can't really get out of the situation. And I want you to think about pricing as a spectrum. So on one end of the spectrum, we have big businesses that serve a mass market at very, very low prices, right? These are the businesses that we all know the names of, things like Walmart's, Amazon's, and they can afford to compete based on very low prices because they have sophisticated systems behind the scenes in order to deliver their products. They have an economy of scale, meaning that they're able to buy more at a lower price point than other buyers and other retailers. So their purchasing power is more. They can be the biggest buyer of every single product in their storefront, and because they're the biggest buyer, they can negotiate better deals. And sometimes these little details aren't really visible to us as buyers and people go shopping. We don't see how Walmart, for example, is the biggest buyer of bananas. Okay, I don't know if they're actually the biggest, but let's say for this example they are. If they are the biggest buyer of bananas, they have more buying power, and the suppliers of the bananas are likely to give them a better deal, simply because of their volume. They also know that because of the volume of business they do, they can afford to lose money on certain things in their business because they know that the buyer is still going to buy something else. And a great example of this is Costco. I recently read that Costco has actively stayed focused on keeping certain products at an amazingly low price point. And I know for sure where I live, that is the rotisserie chicken. So if you've ever gone in and bought a rotisserie chicken from Costco, you know that the price point hasn't changed. And it hasn't changed, and it's such a good deal that they know that people are going to come into the store just to get that rotisserie chicken. They know that they're going to lose money on it, but they're not concerned because they also know that most people who come into the store to get that chicken aren't going to just get one thing. So Costco is going to lose money on the rotisserie chicken, but they're going to gain on other things because people are going to come in and buy other things when they're in the store. So that's mass market low prices. That's one end of the spectrum. Now, on the flip side, we could have an extremely high-end business that serves high-end clientele at a premium price point. So let's think about this. You go to Walmart and you want to buy a plain t-shirt. You can buy that for what, $3, $5? You may even be able to buy a pack of 3 of them for like $10 or $12. Or you could go to a bit of a higher end store. Here in Canada, we have something called the Bay, and you could buy that same t-shirt for maybe $35. Or you could go to a designer high-end boutique and buy a t-shirt for $100 or $300. You see how there's a spectrum of pricing here, and they are all solving the problem of, I need a new t-shirt, but they're solving it very differently for different types of clients. People who are going in to grab the t-shirt from Walmart are okay with a t-shirt that is going to last a short time. It's disposable, basically. They're not planning on this t-shirt being in their drawers forever. They're not looking at this t-shirt as a real investment into their wardrobe. But people who go to a boutique, they are willing to pay 10 or 100 times more because they value things that are higher quality. Maybe it's a higher quality of fabric, higher craftsmanship, higher attention to detail than what you would get for this same looking t-shirt at Walmart. Right. So my point here is that people in the middle, the businesses who are in the middle, who aren't super high end and who aren't super low end, they get stuck a little bit in the pricing spectrum. And this is the feast or famine trap. Because when a business lacks the strategy to price, package, and position their programs and services based on the values that their clients have, then they end up struggling to compete. And here's why. First, what happens is their profit margins suffer. The biggest challenge with attempting to be competitive with your prices is that you're automatically, by positioning yourself as price competitive, you're setting yourself up for price shoppers. The problem so many business owners is that they tend to operate in the middle. They don't price themselves like Walmart, but they're not positioning themselves like a high-end boutique either. And so they get stuck in feast or famine cycle, underpricing their services, working harder and harder to keep up with demand, but never feeling like they're making enough money or gaining traction. And here's where the trap really sets in. When you underprice your services, you're not just leaving money on the table. You're also attracting clients who are focused on price. These are the clients who will shop around looking for the cheapest option, not necessarily the best experience. They don't necessarily value your work or your expertise. What they value is the deal. Okay, so what's the solution? The quickest way to escape this trap is to raise your prices. Now, I know it sounds simple, and I know how scary it can be. It's easy to think, will my clients really pay more? What if I lose them? But here's what I found, is that when my clients raise their rates, they not only make more money, but they also free up time and energy because they're working with fewer clients who are willing to pay for a quality service. So let me share you this example. I had a client who was completely booked out. She had no room for new clients, but she was exhausted and she wasn't making enough to justify the hours she was putting in. So we took a look at her pricing. We increased her rates by 25%. We dropped her client load by 25%. And guess what? She made the same amount of money, but had more time and energy. That's the power of strategic pricing. So if you haven't already, I highly recommend grabbing the Get Paid Like a CEO toolkit. It's a fantastic tool for playing with the numbers and seeing what a 20 or 25% increase can do for your business. Now, let me be clear. This is not about doubling your rates overnight. Not at all. Even seeing small price increases can make a significant impact on your bottom line. And I know some of you are probably doubting, going, a 20% increase, that won't be enough for me. And you could be right. If that's the case, then I challenge you to ask yourself, what if I doubled my rates? Now, that's a next level conversation that we can't have here right now on this podcast episode. But if you want to charge premium prices, you need to deliver a premium experience. That means higher quality service, better packaging, and positioning yourself as the expert your clients are willing to pay more for. I want you to think about pricing as a reflection of the value you provide, the transformation you offer to your clients, and the level of service you deliver. If you're delivering a bay-level experience, then you shouldn't be afraid of charging that level of price. And at the end of the day, remember that pricing is just a number. It's a business strategy. It's what allows you to scale, to reinvest in your business, to hire a team, and to ultimately build a business that's sustainable for the long haul. Understanding your pricing and understanding the math behind your pricing and how it impacts everything else is really important. It's not just the pricing, it's understanding your capacity. How many clients can you reasonably serve? You have to understand that there's a correlation here, right? Between your time, your energy, and the level of service you want to deliver, and the right pricing for that service. So you need to think through the math in order to make sure your pricing is right for your business. Ultimately, I want every person listening to this to really think about the fact that pricing is positioning. If you're feeling overworked and underpaid, then we need to not just look at pricing just as a number that gets run through on your invoices. We need to think about it and how it relates to your entire business strategy. So if you're feeling overworked and underpaid, it's time to reevaluate your pricing. It's time to get clear on your capacity. Understand how many clients you can realistically serve and start crunching the numbers. You can use the Get Paid Like a CEO toolkit to help you. You might actually be surprised by what a small price increase can do for your business. And not just your business, but your peace of mind. All right, I know there was a lot to unpack in this episode of pricing, and really we're just scratching the surface. I want you to think first, what is your take-home revenue goal? What do you want to actually pay yourself? The pay that you want to get from your business. And then come up with your revenue goal in order to make your take-home pay goal. And it helps you kind of reverse engineer the right prices for your product, program, or service. And then you want to be thinking about your capacity. How many people can you reasonably serve? If you need to serve more people, what needs to happen in order to increase your capacity? Do you need to outsource something? Do you need to hire someone? Do you need to bring somebody else on who can actually work with your clients? What needs to happen in order to serve more people? Crunch the numbers to figure out and make sure that everything actually makes sense, that your pricing makes sense for what you're trying to achieve with your business. Doing this type of math with the Get Paid Like a CEO toolkit is one of the fastest ways to make sure that it's possible for you to hit your revenue goal, but also for you to get real clarity on what is and isn't working in your business. If you're looking at your existing prices and you run it through the calculator and you realize, wow, I am way underpaid for what needs to be now. I've done the math, I've looked at my numbers, and I'm seriously underpaid. You have time to course correct and look at how you can increase your prices so that you can be more sustainable. And I hope this has got you thinking critically about your pricing strategy. Again, if you need some help with this, go grab the Get Paid Like a CEO toolkit. That'll help you. The link will be in the show notes, and that will really help you start to do the number crunching. Okay, in our next episode, we're going to talk about the second strategy to help you build a more sustainable business, attracting more clients. So now that you have your pricing dialed in, I'm going to dive deep into how to bring in those clients without creating more overwhelm. Thanks for joining me today. And as always, let me know your insights. Let me know your ahas and your takeaways. What has this episode done for you in terms of thinking about your pricing? Did you grab the Get Paid Like a CEO toolkit? And are you going to be doing any pricing changes in the near future? Head on over to the Facebook group CEO Amplify and let me know your comments. I can't wait to hear from you. Until next week, keep shining. Thank you for joining me on this episode of CEO Amplify. I appreciate you being part of our thriving community of ambitious business owners. If you enjoyed today's episode, I kindly ask you to share this podcast with a friend and take a hot minute to rate and leave a review. It would mean the world to me. Your feedback helps me reach more people and continue providing valuable content. Thanks so much for your support. Keep shining, and we'll catch you on the next episode.